Capricorn. The moment Capricorn emotionally erases you. Do you know the exact moment when Capricorn emotionally erases you from their life? It's not when you make a mistake. It's not at the first disappointment. It's not even when you hurt them. It's in a silent instant, almost invisible, where something inside them closes forever. And when that happens, you never come back. Never. Today, you're going to discover exactly what happens in Capricorn's mind and heart in that fatal moment. And more. I'm going to reveal 5 deep reasons that explain why this sign, so loyal and resilient, can erase you as if you never existed. If you've ever been forgotten by a Capricorn, or if you are a Capricorn and recognize this coldness that even you don't fully understand, this video is going to touch your most sensitive spot. Before we begin, subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any content about the signs. And leave your like now, because what you're about to hear here deserves to be shared. So take a deep breath. We're going to enter the frozen mountain of Capricorn's heart. The first reason why Capricorn emotionally erases you lies in the very structure of their inner world. Capricorn doesn't build relationships. They architect bonds. Each person in their life occupies a specific place, like a stone in a Gothic cathedral. Each one sustains something. Each one has a function. And Capricorn is the master builder who never stops observing whether the structure is solid. When you enter a Capricorn's life, you don't realize it, but you're being tested. Not out of cruelty, not out of gratuitous distrust, but because Capricorn learned from very early on that the world crumbles, that people leave, that promises break, and they swore to themselves that they would never be caught by surprise again. So they observe, in silence, with those deep eyes that seem to see through you. They analyze. Are you trustworthy? Are you consistent? Will you be here when everything falls apart? And while you think you're just living the relationship, Capricorn is making calculations. Not cold ones, not insensitive ones, but necessary ones. Because for them, loving is an investment of the soul, and they can't afford to invest wrongly. Now, imagine you failed the test. It doesn't have to be a brutal betrayal. It doesn't have to be a scandalous lie. Sometimes it's just inconsistency, a broken promise, a word that wasn't kept, a moment when they needed you and you weren't there. And in that instant, something happens inside them. The stone you occupied in their cathedral cracks. And Capricorn, the master builder, looks at that crack and makes an immediate decision. Remove the stone before the entire structure collapses. They don't hate you. They don't wish you harm. They simply remove you. Clinically, surgically, like an architect who removes a compromised pillar before the roof falls on their head. And here's the most painful part. For them, this removal is self-preservation. It's emotional survival. Because Capricorn carries so much weight, responsibilities, expectations, lifetime dreams, that they can't allow themselves to also carry the weight of someone who isn't solid. Have you ever felt like someone treated you as if you no longer existed? As if all the history you built together had been erased? This isn't cruelty. It's Capricorn's emotional architecture protecting itself from the only thing they truly fear, total collapse. Because, you see, Capricorn isn't afraid of failing. They're afraid of crumbling. And there's a huge difference between these two things. The second reason is perhaps the most disturbing of all. Capricorn erases you because they've already screamed in silence for so long that, when you finally notice, it's already too late. Let me explain something about this sign that few understand. Capricorn isn't explosive. They don't make scenes. They don't throw plates across the room or send desperate messages at 3 in the morning saying how much you hurt them. No. Capricorn goes silent. And this silence is the most violent storm you'll never hear. While you go on with your life, thinking everything is fine, Capricorn is having entire conversations with you inside their head. They're explaining to you, in detail, exactly where and how you disappointed them. They're giving you chances, imaginary ones, but chances. They're waiting for you to notice, for you to feel it, for you to come back and fix it. But you don't notice, because their scream is mute. Because Capricorn learned, over a lifetime of emotional loneliness, that screaming doesn't help. That crying doesn't change anything. That begging for attention only makes them look weak. And Capricorn would rather die than look weak. So they keep it in. They swallow it. They file each disappointment like a document in a mental drawer. And they continue. Continue being loyal. Continue being present. Continue being strong. Because that's what people expect from them. That's what they expect from themselves. But inside them, something is cracking. And when the moment comes, that invisible moment, that second you'll never be able to identify, Capricorn makes a cold, final, and unwavering decision. Enough. And that's it. It's over. You've been erased. There was no warning. No ultimatum. No dramatic last chance. Because Capricorn already gave you all the chances in their silence. And you didn't hear. Asterisk, you know what's most tragic? Many times, the person doesn't even know what they did wrong. They come asking, "What happened? Why did you change toward me?" Asterisk, and Capricorn looks at them with those eyes empty of emotion and says, "Nothing. Everything's fine." But it's not. It never will be again. Because Capricorn doesn't go back. Not when they decide. Not when the door closes. They might even maintain social cordiality. They might even answer your messages politely. But emotionally, you don't exist anymore. And the most painful thing of all is that while you cry, while you try to understand, while you beg for an explanation, Capricorn has already moved on. Not because they didn't feel, but because they felt too much and decided they won't feel anything for you anymore. Because for Capricorn, emotional erasure isn't revenge. It's liberation. Now we arrive at the torn heart of this story. The third reason Capricorn erases you, because behind that mask of absolute control, unshakable competence, superhuman strength, there exists a heart so fragile that they themselves are afraid to touch it. You see Capricorn, and what do you perceive? A mountain. A natural-born leader. Someone who never wavers. Someone who carries the world on their shoulders without complaining. Someone who always knows what to do. But that's the armor. Underneath it, there's a child who never felt safe enough to just be a child. A child who sat at the dinner table listening to adult conversations about bills that couldn't be paid, about problems that had no solutions, about responsibilities that fell on shoulders far too small to carry them. A child who learned to read the room before they learned to read books, scanning faces for signs of stress, measuring the weight of silences, understanding that their needs came second, third, or not at all. There's a child who was told, in 1,000 unspoken ways, that crying was inconvenient, that being needy was a burden, that childhood was a luxury they couldn't afford. So they learned to be quiet, to be helpful, to be the good one who never caused problems, never asked for too much, never demanded the attention that other children so freely received. And there's a teenager who had to grow up too fast, who worked part-time jobs while their friends were discovering first loves, who stayed home to take care of younger siblings while others were out being reckless and free, who made adult decisions about family finances, about survival, about sacrifice, before they even understood what they were giving up. A teenager who looked in the mirror and saw someone older, wearier, more tired than their years should allow. Someone who'd already learned that the world doesn't wait for you to be ready. It just demands. And you either rise to meet it or you drown. And now, there's an adult carrying wounds so old they don't even remember when they started to hurt. Wounds that have become part of their identity, like ancient scars on a warrior who's forgotten which battle each one came from. They just know they ache when the weather changes, when someone gets too close, when life demands they trust again. These aren't fresh wounds. They're generational, inherited, passed down like family heirlooms nobody wanted, but everyone carries anyway. The wound of never being enough. The wound of having to earn love instead of simply receiving it. The wound of knowing that safety is an illusion and that the only person you can truly depend on is yourself. Capricorn built this iron mask because the world demanded it, not requested it, not suggested it, demanded it. The world looked at this sensitive soul and said, "You don't get to be soft. You don't get to fall apart. Someone has to be strong here, and that someone is you." because no one was coming to save them. No knight in shining armor. No fairy godmother with a magic wand. No last-minute rescue. They waited. Oh, how they waited, scanning the horizon for someone who would see their struggle, recognize their pain, and say, "You can rest now. I've got you." But the horizon remained empty, and the responsibilities kept piling up. And eventually, Capricorn stopped waiting and started building. Building walls. Building defenses. Building this fortress of competence and control because they learned that, if they wanted to survive, they'd have to be strong. Always. No exceptions. No sick days from strength. No vacation from being the reliable one. No moments of weakness that someone else could handle while they recovered. Because here's what the world doesn't tell you about being strong. Once you're good at it, people need you to keep being good at it. They build their lives around your strength. They lean on you. And the moment you waver, the moment you show a crack, everyone panics. Because if you're not okay, then who's going to hold everything together? And this strength became their identity. I am the strong one. I am the one who handles it. I am the rock. It's who they are at work, in their family, among their friends. It's the role they've perfected, the performance they've mastered, the mask they've worn for so long that sometimes they forget it's a mask at all. But it also became their prison, a prison with invisible bars made of expectations, their own and everyone else's. A prison where the walls close in tighter every year, every responsibility, every time someone says, "I knew I could count on you," while they're drowning inside and screaming silently for someone to count them for once. Because now, even when they want to cry, when the pressure becomes unbearable, when the loneliness cuts so deep they can't breathe, when they're so exhausted from carrying everything that their knees buckle, the mask won't come off. They stand in front of the mirror, tears burning behind their eyes, and the mask stares back, immovable. The tears won't fall. The sob won't escape. Because Capricorn has become so good at being strong that their body doesn't remember how to be weak. Even when they want to ask for help, when they desperately need someone to share the load, to understand the weight, to just see them beneath all the accomplishment and achievement, pride won't let them. Not the pride of arrogance, but the pride of someone who learned that asking for help means admitting you can't handle it. And admitting you can't handle it means proving right every doubt you've ever had about yourself. So they carry it alone. Always alone. Even in a crowded room, surrounded by people who love them. Capricorn is fundamentally, existentially alone with their burden. Even when they want to say, "I'm broken inside," when every fiber of their being is screaming those words, when they rehearse the confession 1,000 times in their head, when they open their mouth to finally tell someone the truth, the words die in their throat. They transform mid-sentence into something safer. "I'm just tired. I'm fine, really. It's nothing I can't handle." Because Capricorn has learned that their brokenness makes people uncomfortable. That vulnerability is a currency they can't afford to spend. That the moment they admit they're not okay, people either try to fix them, which feels patronizing, or they distance themselves, which confirms their deepest fear, that they're only lovable when they're useful. And then they meet you, and something shifts. Something they can't quite name. Maybe it's the way you look at them. Not at the accomplishments, not at the title, not at the role they play, but at them. The person underneath. The one they've been hiding for so long they almost forgot they existed. And for the first time in a long time, maybe for the first time ever, they feel that maybe they can take off the mask. That maybe, with you, they don't have to perform strength. That maybe they can just be imperfect, uncertain, human. That maybe they can be vulnerable. That terrifying, exhilarating possibility dances at the edge of their consciousness, like a flame they're both drawn to and afraid of. Because vulnerability means exposure, means giving you the ammunition to destroy them, means trusting that you won't use it, that maybe they can trust. And oh, how desperately they want to trust. How exhausted they are from the constant vigilance, the endless testing, the perpetual guardedness. How beautiful it would be to just let go, to fall backward and believe someone will catch them. But Capricorn doesn't give their heart away easily. They can't. The scars won't let them. They give it in layers, slowly, Like an archaeologist carefully brushing away centuries of sediment, they reveal themselves one fragment at a time. First, the surface layer. Their interests, their humor, their daily life. Safe territory. Nothing that could be weaponized. Then, if you pass that test, another layer. Their opinions, their dreams, their fears about the future. Still somewhat protected. Still controllable. And if you're patient, if you prove yourself consistent, reliable, safe, they might let you glimpse the layer beneath. Their childhood wounds, their secret insecurities, their late-night terrors about not being enough. Testing. Always testing. Not consciously, necessarily, but watching. How do you react when they show you something real? Do you cherish it or dismiss it? Do you hold it gently or use it against them in the next argument? Do you stay or do you run? Always ready to retreat if something goes wrong. One hand extended, one hand on the door. One foot in, one foot out. Ready to slam the walls back up at the first sign of danger. Ready to pretend they never showed you anything at all. Ready to survive the betrayal they're always expecting. And when they finally let you see a glimpse of that glass heart, that fragile, beautiful, terrifyingly delicate core of who they really are beneath the mountain of strength and stoicism, it's a sacred moment. Whether you realize it or not, whether they show it or not, it might look like a small thing to you. A quiet confession at 2 a.m. A tear they couldn't quite hold back. A moment of genuine fear or uncertainty they let you witness. But for Capricorn, it's everything. It's them standing before you emotionally naked, hoping, desperately hoping, that you'll see them and not flinch. And you don't understand. Or worse, you heard it. Maybe you don't mean to. Maybe you're just being human, distracted, having a bad day, not realizing the magnitude of what they've shared. Maybe you make a joke to lighten the mood, not knowing it lands like a knife. Maybe you forget the conversation entirely, not understanding it was the most important thing they've said to you in months. Maybe you use that vulnerability against them later, in anger, in frustration, weaponizing their deepest fear against them. In that moment, something inside them shatters irreparably. You can almost hear it if you're paying attention. A sound like ice cracking on a frozen lake. Like ancient glass finally succumbing to one impact too many. Like a heart that's been holding itself together through sheer will finally accepting that it's broken. It's not an exaggeration. It's not drama. It's not Capricorn being too sensitive or overreacting. It's that, for Capricorn, showing vulnerability is the most terrifying thing in the universe. More terrifying than failure. More terrifying than death. Because vulnerability means handing you the power to destroy the one thing they've protected their entire life. Their inner self. They've built everything, the career, the reputation, the iron mask, to protect that glass heart. And the moment they let you touch it and you damage it, whether intentionally or not, their entire system goes into catastrophic shutdown. And when that vulnerability is ignored, ridiculed, or betrayed, the pain is so unbearable that they do the only thing they know how to do, close themselves completely. It's instantaneous. Absolute. Like a vault door slamming shut, steel bolts sliding into place, alarm systems activating. You can see it happen in their eyes. That light that was tentatively opening suddenly goes dark. That softness that was beginning to emerge hardens into stone. That hope that maybe, this time, it would be different extinguishes and erase you. Not because you're bad. Not because they hate you. Not even because they don't love you anymore. But because they need to protect that glass heart before it turns to dust. Before the cracks spread so far that there's nothing left to salvage. Before the pain of staying open to you destroys the last fragile pieces of themselves they've managed to keep intact. They erase you to survive, to preserve what little remains of their ability to feel, to trust, to hope. Because if they don't erase you, if they keep you in their heart while you continue to wound them, intentionally or not, they won't just lose you. They'll lose themselves entirely. Have you noticed how Capricorn can be so cold after being so loyal? How they go from present to absent overnight. From warm to frozen? From your biggest supporter to someone who looks through you like you're made of glass? It's because their coldness is directly proportional to the pain they're feeling. This is the equation people don't understand. Capricorn doesn't get cold because they don't care. They get cold because they care so devastatingly much that the only way to survive the caring is to freeze it entirely. To numb themselves so completely that they can't feel the wound you left. Can't feel the empty space where you used to be. Can't feel the grief of losing someone who, for a brief, beautiful, terrifying moment, they thought might actually stay. The more they freeze you on the outside, the more they're bleeding on the inside. Every curt text message is a scream they're swallowing. Every neutral expression is a mask over a face that wants to crumble. Every "I'm fine" is a lie covering a truth too painful to speak. You broke something in me I didn't know could break. And I will never, ever let you close enough to break anything else. The ice isn't armor. It's a tourniquet. A desperate attempt to stop the hemorrhaging before they bleed out completely. And the cruelest irony? While they're freezing you out to survive, you're probably confused, hurt, wondering what you did wrong, not realizing that what you're witnessing isn't Capricorn strength. It's their most profound weakness. The only way they know how to protect themselves from the unbearable pain of being seen, being vulnerable, and being hurt anyway. They're not a mountain. They're a person who learned to become a mountain because anything softer couldn't survive the world they were born into. And now, even when they want to be soft again, the mountain won't let them. The iron mask is back. And now it's welded shut, locked. You'll never remove it again. Because Capricorns swore to themselves that they'll never let anyone get close enough to break them again. And the tragedy is this: they don't erase you because they stop caring. They erase you because they cared too much. And it almost destroyed them. Before we continue with the last two reasons, I need to ask you a question. Have you ever felt this? Have you ever been emotionally erased by a Capricorn? Or are you a Capricorn and recognize yourself in this silent pain, in this need to protect yourself by erasing people before they destroy you? Write in the comments below. Share your story. Because I know many people watching this video are feeling a tightness in their chest right now. And sometimes just putting it into words helps us begin to heal. So go ahead, comment now. And while you write, let's move to reason number 4. The fourth reason that explains why Capricorn emotionally erases you is buried so deep in their unconscious that they don't even realize it. The ancestral fear of abandonment. Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, the planet of time, of hard lessons, of inevitable losses. And since birth, Capricorn carries, in the DNA of their soul, the sensation that nothing lasts forever. Asterisk, they've seen people leave, seen promises break, seen time take away what they loved most. And they learned the cruelest lesson of all: if you attach, you suffer. Asterisk. So they developed an emotional survival strategy: leave before being left. Sounds contradictory, doesn't it? Capricorn is known for their loyalty, for their persistence, for never giving up. But here's the secret: they never give up on goals, on dreams, on objectives. But on people, when the threat of abandonment becomes real, they abandon you first. It's a primitive defense mechanism, instinctive. They don't think, they react. And you know what the trigger is? Any behavior that even remotely reminds them of abandonment. You canceled plans? Abandonment. You took too long to respond? Abandonment. You chose someone else over them at some important moment? Abandonment. And the most painful part, many times you had no intention of abandoning them. You were just living your life, making normal human mistakes. But for Capricorn, who is always waiting for the next abandonment, any slip is interpreted as the beginning of the end. So they act fast, cut before being cut, erase before being erased, distance themselves before feeling the pain of distance. And what they don't realize, what no one realizes, is that by doing this, they condemn themselves to their own self-fulfilling prophecy. They're so afraid of being abandoned that they end up alone, not because people left them, but because they pushed them away preventively. It's a silent tragedy, because Capricorn is, deep down, the sign that most wants to belong. that most wants to build something lasting, that most dreams of a love that withstands time. But Saturn, the relentless master, whispers in their ear, nothing lasts. Everything ends. Protect yourself. And Capricorn obeys. Always obeys. So, when you're erased by a Capricorn, maybe, just maybe, it's not about you. Maybe it's about all the ghosts they carry. About all the times they trusted and were disappointed. About all the times they loved and were left behind. And the only way they know to deal with this ancestral pain is feel nothing anymore. Erase you. Erase the memory. Erase the possibility of suffering again. And now we arrive at the fifth and final reason, the deepest of all. Capricorn erases you because deep in their old and tired soul, they believe that solitude is the price of greatness. Let that sink in for a moment. Capricorn didn't choose to be ambitious. Didn't choose to carry responsibilities that would crush any other sign. Didn't choose this obsessive need to build, to achieve, to leave a legacy. But that's their destiny. And they know it. And somewhere on the path up the mountain, they're always climbing. Capricorn looked back and saw they were climbing alone. That the people they loved stayed behind. That relationships can't keep up with the pace of their journey. And they had to make a choice. Stop climbing or climb alone. And Capricorn always chooses to climb. Not because they don't love you, but because they love their mission more. Because they feel deep in their soul that they were born for something greater. And that this something greater demands sacrifice. Demands renunciation. Demands solitude. So when you can't keep up with them, or when they realize that the relationship with you is delaying their ascent, they make the most painful decision of all. Leave you behind. They erase you not out of cruelty, but for redemption. Because Capricorn believes that if they can reach the top, if they can accomplish everything they came here to do, then, and only then, they'll be worthy of love. Then they can rest. Then, perhaps, someone will choose them not despite their wounds, but with them. But until then, they climb. Alone. With their jaw clenched. With their heart bleeding. But climbing. And you? You stay down there. Erased. Not because they didn't want you, but because they wanted themselves more. Wanted their redemption. Wanted to prove to the world, to Saturn, to the universe, that they're strong enough. And this is the cross that Capricorn carries. The solitude they accept as the price of the greatness they pursue. So here's the truth about Capricorn. The truth that hurts. The truth that liberates. Capricorn emotionally erases you not because they're cold, but because they're so afraid of feeling that they prefer to feel nothing. They erase you not because you don't matter, but because you matter too much. And that scared them. They erase you not because they're strong, but because they're so broken inside that the only way to survive is to pretend you never existed. The tragedy of Capricorn is that they were trained to be invincible. But no one is invincible. And the weight of pretending to be, that weight is crushing them. Beneath the mountain of responsibilities, there's a heart that just wants to be seen, to be chosen, to be loved without having to deserve it. But they don't know how to ask for that. So they build walls and erase you and keep climbing alone. If you're a Capricorn, know that you don't have to climb alone. That vulnerability isn't weakness. That letting someone in won't destroy you. It will complete you. And if you were erased by a Capricorn, understand that it wasn't about you. It was about the war they fight with themselves every day. Now tell me, have you ever felt this silent pain inside you? Have you erased someone or been erased? Write in the comments below. Share this video with someone who needs to understand. And subscribe to the channel for more content that touches the soul. Until the next video. And remember, even the highest mountains need roots.